On the freeway, unwitting skinwalkers transformed, tearing through their vehicles and leaping off the overpass in terror, while other drivers swerved or crashed, creating a multi-car pileup in each direction. Sheriff Mills was boxed inside of her Ford Taurus. She grabbed her intercom to make a speech over the loudspeaker when a giant wolf leapt on the hood of her car. Mills was startled until the wolf used his paw to make the roll down your window gesture. She complied.
Yes?
Sheriff Mills, it's me, Mitchell.
Good gravy.
Yeah, it's a trip, but we don't have enough time. I need to get to Candace Bloodgood. You have any idea where she is?
Kevin just called me about a massacre at the DeNarco mansion. She's there with him.
Then let's get out of here.
Do you see this traffic?
Do you see me? I'm a giant wolf with mad speed and even madder hops. Climb aboard.
You're joking, right?
If you want to be stuck in bumper to bumper, that's...
Fine.
She got out through the window of her car. Mitchell leaned down so she could climb on his neck.
You owe me an explanation for all of this.
Happy to give it to you on the ride there. You're gonna want to grip real tight though, cause it'd totally suck if you fell off my back. Ready?
As I'll ever...
Mitchell leapt into the air, flying 1,000 feet.
Be!
At DeNarco's mansion, they were recovering from the attack by the Golem, when the skinwalkers who made up the remaining dealers and waitstaff turned into giant wolves and burst out, destroying what remained of the entrance and every car parked up the steep hill. Silas stood next to Giuseppe DeNarco. He could see that his car was one of the few left intact.
Well, Giuseppe, you threw one hell of a game night.
The Don's mouth was agape as tears rolled down his face. Grazie! Kevin ran in.
It's happening everywhere. You should see this.
Candace, Ray, and the remaining members of the DeNarco and Guastani families huddled around the giant screen in the living room as Kevin, Silas, and Giuseppe arrived. The TV was tuned into the news. Images showed the horror of every skinwalker in Aldrinia violently shifting into their giant wolf forms. Reporter Connie O'Rourke of Pierce stood in front of the house of a fallen wolf being seen by 4 paramedics.
The bizarre epidemic amongst the skinwalkers changing into their true Earth forms rages on. Many of the skinwalkers native to the moon are having counter-reactions. Children have gone into shock due to the stress on their bodies, while many others, such as this Lovell Estates resident behind me, have gone into cardiac arrest. The death toll is claimed over 22.
Madness. Utter madness.
You're telling me.
The room turned to see the giant wolf that seemed to appear out of thin air.
How did you get in here without us seeing or hearing anything? I am super fast in this form.
Sheriff Mills jumped off Mitchell's back and ran into Kevin's arms. The two kissed passionately before stopping abruptly after noticing everyone else in the room.
Apologies for the unprofessionalism, everyone. Yes, sincerest at that. The sheriff and I have actually been in a relationship for quite some time.
Yeah, we know.
Really?
Indubitably.
All of you?
Let's take a head count. Giuseppe.
C.
Amici.
He's dead. Then I'll vouch for him. Mitchell.
Yeah, I totally knew, dude.
Mitchell, you're here to fill us in on this clustercuss, right?
Long story short, a cult of skinwalkers led by the first skinwalker set you up so you could sire Jesse during the alignment on Earth, creating the Mega Wolf and siphon his intense energy to force change all the skinwalkers into their true forms.
That old chestnut? Siphon his energy? Is Jesse dead?
No, he's still hooked up to the siphon device though, and I need you to get him out. I'd do it, but I'm lacking in the opposable thumbs department.
Let's go. Candace pounced on Mitchell's back. He jumped through the hole in the ceiling, leaving the others behind.
What a night.
Avert your eyes to the telly, dear brother-in-law. Things are ramping up. Magdalene was on the screen, marching through Main Street Aldrinia with 3 large black wolves that were the transformed Spectre Sisters.
This domed city is ours, and soon every province on the moon will fall to our might. This is the recompense for years of servitude.
I am sure these are not the opinions of every skinwalker, just a radical fringe group. I say we get down there and do something.
Hold on. The police have this covered. Not in the slightest. It is total chaos out there.
Calm down, Giuseppe. You don't have the manpower.
There are over 30 of my men left standing. The remaining Gustanis make up another 20, which seems decent enough to me. Hey, fellas? He picked up and cocked his triple-barrel nitrogen Tommy gun. "Let's show those four-legged freaks who's boss!" Mitchell and Candace made it to the castle fortress of the Kindheart Collective, climbing through the crater in the side of the mountain Mitchell created when he left to find help. She watched in horror as Jesse, in his pierced form, had withered away with that grotesque helmet around his head. She ran to him before a familiar voice called out,
"Wait, you need me to guide you. Otherwise, you will burn his brain inside out."
Candace turned, expecting to see Dr. Humphreys. In her place was a giant gray and white wolf with piercing blue eyes, perched at the other end of the lab. Candace's eyes glowed red with rage. Her claws sharpened as she rushed to the changed doctor.
Humphreys, I oughta... Hold on. I thought you were a baker.
"A disguise. It was the only way I could enter the medical profession."
I still want to gouge your eyes out for what you did.
"There is nothing you can do to me that is worse than what this experiment already has. Pay close attention."
Candace stopped. Her eyes were focused on Humphreys, then took in her body, growing wide in horror at the sight of her malformed hind legs with bones sticking through her skin.
"Not all of us were meant for our true form."
Yanni sauntered into the room upon hearing his son's return.
"Dad, how's Mom?"
"She is asleep. The seizures have stopped. For now."
Mitchell turned towards Candace.
"Things are bad. Please save Jesse and end this."
Tell me what to do, Doc.
Dr. Humphreys directed Candace to the control panel of the siphon machine, guiding her through the maze of multicolored wires, and which ones needed to be disconnected from the helmet, sending it falling from Jesse's head to the ground.
"When do we start changing back?"
If this machine was the cause of the transformation, it would be instantaneous.
It wasn't?
I should have known. Once I saw Candace here in her pierced form. If the siphon machine truly contaminated the air, then every other race would have reverted back to their human form.
But we didn't.
So Magdalene just needed the Alpha Wolf energy to jumpstart her own transformation.
You're saying that she's forced all of us skinwalkers to transform? With what, her mind?
She is the first skinwalker. Her powers may be beyond comprehension.
Well, this sucks!
I know what I have to do.
Candace bit her wrist, opened a vein, and put it in front of Jesse's mouth.
I'm his sire. My blood can heal him.
Are you mad? He's an alpha. He can drain you dry.
I got him into this, whether I wanted to or not. Fair is fair.
Jesse's energy returned. His eyes glowed red as he sucked away with no thought until Candace grew pale and collapsed. The sound of her body hitting the floor snapped Jesse out of his fugue state, seeing her unconscious on the ground, then connecting her bloody wrist with the blood all over his mouth and clothes, sent him in a rage, immediately turning into the Megawolf.
Hey!
Snarling, Megawolf Jesse turned to the giant wolf.
I know this looks bad, but if you go postal right now, then she died for nothing. We need you to go after the big bad wolf. Understand?
The Megawolf turned up his head, howling into the night. You just listened to Werewolves on the Moon, Episode 10, Crisis on Aldrinia. This audio drama was written, recorded, performed, and edited by Drew Manning. If you enjoyed it, please stay tuned to this channel. Thank you for your time, and have a great one.